Italy, the land of the extroverts, a country that teaches you directly to speak with volume, otherwise you don't get served. Literally. For me this is hard. Being introverted and living in Italy can be a tricky combination. It sometimes feels like I have to be social and loud all the time or I won't be heard or seen. Hi, I am Flora and I am an introvert. I've always been this way. I cry when I hear beautiful music that touches me, and I can feel ecstatic when I make a chocolate cake and it turns out so good that I have to eat the whole thing. I feel things a lot. One side of this is that it's super nice for me and my whole experience, but there's also a downside, and sometimes I need to use some tricks to not feel overwhelmed completely, especially in this country. I love humanity and I love meeting new people, but it needs to be in small groups or I'm easily overwhelmed. I thrive in one-on-one conversations. I can't just spend the whole day with a big group of strangers. I just wouldn't survive, honestly. When I first arrived in Italy, I thought I had to adapt and change my complete personality to a certain rhythm, to be more social, be more spontaneous, more present in conversations that never seem to end. Italians love to talk. And for a while I believed something was wrong with me for needing space, silence, and time alone. Because here life happens outside. People gather, families stay close, cafes are full of conversation, and as an introvert it can feel like you're always slightly out of sync with the world that is around you. But after quite some time, I realized something. That Italy is actually one of the most beautiful places to be alone. Not lonely, but alone. Because solitude in Italy can feel like a profound, romantic, and even empowering feeling for an introvert. Because you can sit at a cafe without speaking and still feel part of life. You can walk for hours through the streets that feel like living in a museum. You can observe, my favorite thing, instead of participate. And somehow that can feel enough. Dinners, small rituals instead of constant plans. And learning that presence doesn't always require interaction. Sometimes smiling at someone is already enough. Having a prosecco at one of those cute little bars a little tucked away in the city, and reading your book or watching the sunset while you're not in the crowd with the others. There is a kind of permission that Italy gives you, if you allow it, just to pause, to notice details, to enjoy moments that don't need to be shared or documented. And maybe that's why I stayed, because here solitude feels less like isolation, more like observation. Of course, there will be difficult days as well. Sometimes you're not feeling you want to talk, and if you would go to Rome, people love talking there. In Florence, you would have less of a problem there. But generally speaking, Italians are more vocal and social, I would say, than in Holland. And as an introvert, it really depends on your mood. If you're not in the mood, don't talk to me. If you're in the mood, yeah, please. But Italians, especially Romans, they just need to vent, and sometimes you have to set your boundaries, and that is not a bad thing. It's how you do it. like with many things. But I had to learn that, how to do it. But over time, I learned that being an introvert here in this country is not about escaping people. It's about you're choosing your connection in a different way. Less conversations, but deeper ones. Less noise, but more meaning. It's, for me, quality over quantity. And Italy teach me that a fulfilling life doesn't always look very busy. Sometimes it looks like walking home at sunset, cooking something simple. Maybe living in Italy as an introvert is not about fitting into this culture. It can be about discovering that there are many ways to actually belong, and also in the introverted way. Because also, there are a lot of Italians who are introverted. Trust me, I know them. Here are some tools that I use to navigate Italy as an introverted woman. Escape the crowded city center by visiting the local public parks, walking along the river, exploring smaller, lesser-known museums and historical sites, even taking the train to a smaller place. For example, you can take the bus to Fiesole. There are some panoramic views that are really worth going there and check out. You can go to Certaldo Alto. It's a preserved medieval pedestrian-only village, and it's known as the birthplace of Boccaccio. Really lovely and very quiet. Of course, you can also go to Volterra or Colle Valdelsa. And for example, if you're near Rome, you can go to Anguillara, Bracciano. Those are seaside places, but you can also go to Tivoli, which is great because they have a lot of hiking trails that are really worth going there with amazing views and breathing that fresh air, and there's just this quietness and nature, which is perfect. Another thing that you can do in Italy, and especially in Rome, is taking the train rather than the bus. There is a lot of train stations, and also the trains, they run more punctual than buses. Buses can be crowded, dirty, very busy and very stressful. And as an introvert, that can be a challenge. Trains, I love the trains. I discovered it recently. Another thing that I like to do is going nature. Take a hike, bike ride, just engage in something that requires you to go to nature. Sometimes I just bring my camera and go taking photos in nature, can go painting in nature. It's because nature, you will notice this after being in nature, you feel charged. Another thing is, if you feel the need, you want to socialize, you can also participate in structured socializing. There's tons of Facebook groups that offer like activities, and it's like a certain time frame, so you know what to expect. It's clear, and there's no surprises. You can also join specific interest groups, walking tours, cooking classes, or even specialized workshops, ceramics, painting, all of that. Advantages of these structured social activities are that they are not so draining as the normally open-ended socializing, but they have this focused and manageable and purposeful interactions, which is great for introverts. And also these activities, they reduce social anxiety and pressure because there's this predictable structure and they have a clear beginning, middle and end, which reduces the anxiety of not knowing when to leave or how to leave, etc. It also eliminates small talk, which is great because they have all these activities that have this shared purpose, provide building conversation topics, removing this pressure of talking about the weather and such. Also, what I love to do is embrace invisible socializing. So that means going and take your book or no book and have a seat at the piazza and just soak in the energy of the people around you. Watch those kids play. There's always some fun scene to look at, and you feel that like you're participating, but you're invisible. And this allows you to be part of the community without needing to talk. And that's also something that a lot of Italians do. So I think this is culturally very accepted here. Anyways, I like to end the video here. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you in the next one. Alla prossima! Ciao!